Hey everybody, it's your friend Daniel Hutchins. I am back again for more awesome stuff about the comic book universe. Yeah, buddy. So now we're doing some live stream stuff again, y'all, from our friend Screen Rant. Yes, our friend Screen Rant. Now, specifically, we're starting out with Spider-Man stuff. So again, that's really hot stuff in the universe right now, y'all. So Sony has no excuses not to give Andrew Garfield another chance in a Spider-Man movie right now. Right freaking now. Okay, so Andrew Garfield return in Spider-Man No Way Home has opened up the doors of opportunity and possibility that goes endless for him to continue and come back again. Again, guys, the Sony has no reasons whatsoever not to give him another chance or another go or another movie. So now this is 7 hours ago from a friend of ours from Screen Rant named James Hunt. All right. So again, guys, we're gonna go some massive spoilers, y'all, from No Way Home. So if you haven't seen No Way Home, stop watching this video and go to the theaters now and see it. But anyway, so after his return from Spider Man No Way Home, Sony now has little excuses for not bringing Andrew Garfield Spider Man back again into the universe, whether it is for an Amazing Spider Man 3 or just as one of the villain movies. Now, 7 years after The Amazing Spider Man 2, the underperformance and the crowded storyline with characters, with the threads with audiences and critics together, have brought Sony's fledgling Spider-Verse to the premature halt. Garfield has done the costume again in the No Way Home, teaming up with both his Spider-Man predecessor and successor, Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland. Now, again, Holland, of course, remains to be the MCU's present and the future of Spider-Man is the face of MCU for now. But now Garfield return can be in the same way as well. Now, that's what we're talking about, y'all. So again, since the releases of Spider-Man No Way Home has broken the box office records and has proved to be the major hit to fans, which is the large parts thanks to the presence of Maguire and Garfield, the two former Spider-Men that were involved with No Way Home, has hardly a surprise at all because all of us were expecting this, guys. All of us were expecting this. Now, nonetheless, their returns proved incredibly popular. Now, Garfield in particular may have a bigger beneficiary. Now, his Spider Man tenure was less acclaimed by Maguire's, but so he finds a sense of redemption from No Way Home. Now, Garfield, we know his Peter Parker story is arguably the best part of the movie and goes beyond this by just giving him a better send off or a greater send off, which can lead to another appearance of his wall crawler. Okay, relate this article what Andrew Garfield, The Amazing Spider Man 3, has to look like. Now, if you want me to talk about that, I'll talk about it a little bit. But let's keep going. So, after months of laying around and lying about his involvement, Garfield himself has opened up and expressed about playing Spider Man in No Way Home, potentially reprising his role again. Now, the actor has never been shy about his love for his character. Now, Garfield is interested in a Spider Man return, saying he is definitely open to something if it felt right. Now, again, guys, it has to feel right for him to return, given. Now, that has the actor strong reviewer interest to see him return. Now, with the hashtag mark, hashtag make the Amazing Spider Man 3, trending all over Twitter and social media across the world after the No Way Home release, is parts of campaigning to give Garfield another Spider Man movie. Now, with No Way Home box office over 1.5 billion, which is probably bigger now, it makes it the biggest Spider Man movie ever. Now, the higher fan demand and the actor own interest sees how it is hard to see why Sony wouldn't bring Garfield back for another Spider Man movie. Really, they have little reason not to, given. Remember, guys. So again, while Sony's original Spider-Man 3 plans had failed, it has since succeeded in launching its own universe of Marvel characters, otherwise known as the Sonyverse, thanks to Venom, which also will include Morbius and Kraven the Hunter. Now, those villain successes are yet to be seen, although interest of the much delayed Morbius at least seems a little tepid. Now, it's hard to deny that said universe will send off the Spider Man at some point, but the villains are all linked by iconics because Spider Man. Spider Man is the ticket to the universe, guys. Spider Man is the ticket of this universe. So, again, it ties it all right together. So, to bring them to life has never had any of the say to face them off against Peter would be the disappointment that stunts the growth of the Sony universe again. Now, Holland's Spider Man could have been a way around this though, but again, the No Way Home mid credit scene actively works against that after Venom went to be Carnage sent Eddie Brock to the MCU. And you know that in the post credits. Now, Marvel has sent him straight back, but then it's kept a symbiote. Now, rejected the clear setup to have Holland fully integrate with those characters. That would also mean there is a vacancy. But again, there's no obvious reason why Garfield can't appear in the Sony Spider Man universe. Because he is part of the Sony Spider Man universe, guys. Remember that. Because here are some various ways that can be achieved. The clearest would be that to do what campaigners would ask to make The Amazing Spider Man 3. Now, of course, now the matter of whether this would be a financial sense. Now, financials, that's kind of just something else. But the Amazing Spider-Man movies were the web swingers lowest at the box office. So if both brought into over 700 million bucks. Now, with the boost of No Way Home and the renewed anticipation, this would surely build up his film and make Amazing Spider-Man 3 better than his two movies prior. Now, it would be a box office success to some degree, guys. So Sony's handling of the universe isn't perfect though. But again, let's give them some credit, guys. Let's give them some credit. But they have learned from some of their past mistakes. Again, Sony's always learning how to revamp the character. So while Garfield himself has grown in as an actor too, his performance was never the issue. There's some more, guys. So, failing with a new solo movie, Garfield's Spider-Man could appear in one of the villain outings. Now, given this, that adding Garfield into Venom 3, Morbius 2, or Kraven the Hunter is something yet to be announced. This would give those franchises a greater chance of success. Now, this allows Sony to test the waters of this return. If Morbius doesn't perform in the box office as well, then it would make even more sense. Again, guys, while things are never black and white and clear as night and day, there'll be no doubt that be some behind scenes footage and wrangling over contracts and stuff. And of course the money, man, the money. Because there's clear demand that where those are involved and their audiences to bring Garfield back to Spider-Man after Spider-Man No Way Home, the creative reasons not to do so would be crazy and would be a waste. So his story does not yet feel finished yet. Again, Sony may find an excuse for not making another Garfield Spider-Man movie, but as it stands, it doesn't really have one. Okay, now let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. Again, it's really important that you know. I want to know your thoughts. Now, we want to go down to that spot in the middle where I said what the Amazing Spider-Man 3 would have looked like. Okay, guys. So, what Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man 3 would have looked like. So, Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man movies that were canceled before his story were complete. Why in this his third film and what it would have looked like. Okay, this is so let's keep going. One, and there are spoilers. Again, spoilers. Every article I share never has happened due to cancellation, but the return of Garfield's Peter Parker and No Way Home has many fans wishing, with their fingers crossed, that Sony will fulfill their promise and complete his planned story. Now, the Amazing Spider-Man movies were originally intended to begin the creation of the shared Sony universe, similar to that of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, however, these plans ultimately fell out the window leading to an eventual Spider-Man recast with Tom Holland. Now, after 3 Spider-Man films starring Tobey Maguire, Sony decided to reboot with Amazing Spider-Man. We know that already, which retold its origin with the younger Andrew Garfield. Now, the movie received generally favorable reviews, despite telling a rather similar story, but its sequel, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, had suffered a backdraw in trying to do so much in one movie. Now, although Sony has hoped to make a third and fourth with Garfield, along these other spin off projects later were scrapped, and again, these ideas moved forward to the future with the deal with the Martian Mac universe instead. Okay, the latest article, How the Martian Mac universe would have been irreversibly different if Garfield was the Spider Man. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. So, yet the fan reaction to seeing Tom Holland's Spider Man meet the Maguire and the Garfield version of No Way Home has many wishing that Garfield could complete his third movie. Again, guys, there has not yet been official response to this chat around the canceled Spider-Man 3, The Amazing Spider-Man 3, and now whether Garfield would even return to his project. Now, given, nevertheless, if Sony had followed through with their initial plan, this is what The Amazing Spider-Man 3 could have looked like. Now, we're going diving deep, yo. So, how The Amazing Spider-Man 2 has sets up a sequel. Okay, guys, so Amazing Spider-Man 2's ended with the clear path to the sequel, with the movie final battle with Electro and Harry. Now, Harry, again, he was going on a crazy rampage again, trying to become the new Goblin. And again, it's the guilt from Gwen's death. Gwen Stacy. She fell down off a clock tower, which has caused Peter to abandon his Spider-Man duty and responsibility for 5 months. Until we know this Russian guy became the Rhino, he broke out of prison and with the help of Harry and his associate, we know Gustav Fierce, aka the Gentleman. Now, Harry, Rhino, and the Gentleman's team up, as well as the film credit we saw, implied to The Amazing Spider-Man 3 would have introduced the Sinister Six, which hasn't happened yet, guys. It hasn't happened, but it's what it would have happened. Now, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 also included several details about Peter's deceased parents and why they would likely been addressed in the sequel. Now, that would have been really cool too, but the opening sequence of this movie had the video message from his dad, Richard Parker, who was a famous scientist working along the Osborns in Oscorp. Now, he and his wife had been trying to flee aboard this private jet when it was crashed, killing them both. We know that's kind of what their origin was. So later in this film, Peter has learned his reason of his parents' disappearance and why Richard, his father, has refused to cooperate with Norman Osborn's plan to make biogenetic weapons with his very research. Now, the full extent of his research remains somewhat vague from the movies, but surely there would have been larger consequences with Garfield Spider-Man going forward. Alright, so what's been revealed about the Amazing Spider-Man 3 story? Okay, what we wanted to know. So, Dennis Leary, who played Gwen's father, George Stacy, had revealed from IGN, which is another friend of ours we sometimes reference, the Amazing Spider-Man 3 would have been about resurrecting people. Now, it would have been a weird idea, but part of this discussion was possibly in the third, there was this idea that at some point Spider-Man would be able to take this formula, regenerate the people of his life that have died. Characters such as George, who's died in the first Amazing Spider-Man, would have came back to life along with Norman and his dad Richard. Now, one deleted scene as the second film showed Oscorp freezing Norman's head, preserving him to a potential return to the future. Now, more deleted scenes also revealed that Richard was somehow still alive, setting up for him for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man to be reunited with one of his parents, and perhaps even berate him for not being present in his life growing up and becoming the man that he wanted to be. That would have been really cool, but that got scrapped as well. But related to this article, yes, Sony's Spider-Man universe is building to a Sinister Six. That is what the ultimative goal is to build the Sinister Six, y'all. To build the Sinister Six, y'all. So, most importantly, though, it's important to remember the ability to revive people would have been presented to Peter with the opportunity to bring back his love and his girlfriend, Gwen Stacy. This potential resurrection could have been something he had to struggle with morality, though. But again, perhaps Peter would need to sacrifice something from return. Because, Infinity War did that. Endgame did that. Look at those movies. And then let me know. But Gwen's father, George, might have argued against that. Because since Marvel really doesn't really do resurrection unless you talk about Infinity and Endgame, that's different. But did you not know the potential consequences when dealing with the themes of death and loss? Now, to explicit ways that would have worked well to allow Peter to fully accept the tragedy he's felt and he had to heal from. Now, again, guys, Peter was able to revive her, though, in this scene. Gwen would have became the new Spider-Gwen, which her project is now in development. Gwen Stacy is going to become the Spider-Gwen in her own story later. Now, we're not going to see her story become reality till much, much far in the future, maybe in the next 5 years, given. Now, who has seen this making her cinematic debut in the Into the Spider-Verse, which is an animated project with Miles Morales, another hero we have to set up. But regardless of these results of the tampering with life this way, the story arc would have helped Peter accept his responsibility to come to peace among them. Okay, guys, so along with the future Amazing Spider-Man movies, guys, Sony also has plans for the Venom and the Sinister Six spin-offs, using the Gentleman as the recruiter to locate all of Spider-Man's enemies. Director Mark Webb, again, he's the director during that time, has told our friend Den of Geek that they want to bring back Norman as a main villain, and he wants to lead the Sinister Six. Vulture is another discussion, and again, he's a possible member to the villain group. Now, it's rumored his character, that it's rumored that there is a character of the Black Cat. We know the Black Cat, Felicia Hardy. Now, she would have appeared in a small role in the movie and would return for her own spin-off later. Now, the comics Black Cat has been the enemy and an ally and the love interest for Spider-Man. But considering this heartbreak over Gwen, again, whether it is still fresh in his mind or not, will likely have been an ally to him at best. How No Way Home has changed Garfield's Spider-Man story forever. Okay, guys, so No Way Home, Garfield Peter has shared a bit of his experiences with his losses and his downward depression. Now, we know he was really, really depressed when we saw him enter through the portal in No Way Home, but given that although his variant of Spider-Man characters have lost parental figures and others close to him, Garfield has went through a lot of loss. Again, Garfield, Peter was the only one who lost his MJ, we know, Gwen Stacy. As for her death, it wasn't that sad enough. Now, if it was something that Peter had almost prevented, despite getting caught in his own webs, her head still had hit the ground, which had killed her instantly from falling off the clock tower. Now, although the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2 shows that Peter resuming his duty as the Spider-Man in order to confront the Rhino, now, again, No Way Home paint his returns to a less hopeful than originally portrayed. So after losing his girl Gwen, again, Peter explains that he struggled to remain as the same friendly Spider-Man that we have known all this time. Now, he gradually grew bitter under his weight of responsibility and his loneliness. Now, we saw how sad he was in No Way Home, and then when he entered through the portal, you saw that. But even though he's continued going through the motions of being the superhero he wanted to be, his heart wasn't in the way we know anymore, and he no longer pulled his punches. Now, Garfield's Spider-Man story changed from the perseverance and the hope he has learned to overcome his profound grief to live again, and the one of his tragedy. Now, latest article, the Marvel Cinematic Universe needs to fix the Spider-Man love interest problem. Now, that is something that I might actually explore later. Now, keep a note, guys. I might be talking about that maybe around Valentine's Day. That's an idea that I might do later. So why The Amazing Spider-Man 3 was canceled. Okay, this is where we really get deep. So, ultimately, we know that a lot of factors went to decisions to cancel the future Amazing Spider-Man movies with the Andrew Garfield. So from 2014, Sony has hacked out the certainty, playing a part by revealing information that the company not wanted released yet. Again, it's made them less inclined to want to move forward with those leaked ideas, but Sony was also in the early stages of negotiating with Marvel over the future of Spider-Man properties at the time. Now, although there has been some confusion over the years over exactly when and how it decided that Garfield would not play Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man, the story of how Marvel Studios, the making of Marvel Studios, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe has shared among our Big Cheese ourselves, the big boss, Big Cheese, Kevin Feige. He's proposed this idea of these reboots instead of continuation. Now, meeting with the Sony co-chairman, his partner Amy Pasquale, she before she had stepped down. Okay, guys, there's more, so let's keep going. So, while the poor critic reviews of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie had certainly not helped Sony execs more inclined to continue their franchise, it did not directly contribute to their decision to cancel it. Now, again, the rumor suggested that Garfield's put himself into the bad lights with Sony due to the last-minute cancellations. He was supposed to attend the gala, which is some like big party, after the 2014 World Cup. Now, where he would have been announced as the star of The Amazing Spider-Man 3. His decision to cancel it had offended some of the executives enough that they don't want to continue his Spider-Man. Now, it wasn't the first time the actor had upset Sony, because he's working for Sony, so he's the employee for Sony. So again, you get the idea. But either Garfield had been outspoken about his hope of Spider-Man, or including the possibility of giving Peter Parker a friend. Now, in statement, this would later ask to retract this information, but no concrete evidence has existed whether or not those factors contributed to the decision to reboot Spider-Man again, with the new face we know now, Tom Holland. Now, regardless of why, No Way Home has many fans regret the choice to cancel Amazing Spider-Man 3. That is what's important. So, okay, guys. So now we're going to be talking about why the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man return is more than likely than the Tobey Maguire. This was also last month, so I'm catching you guys all Spider-Man stuff today. But I'm going to be talking about other stuff later this week. But keep in mind, guys, Spider-Man is a really popular character, and you guys love him, so let's talk about him. So Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man return is more possible following the No Way Home, and his Marvel future is more likely than Tobey's. Okay, so alright, spoilers. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man return is more likely than Tobey's after No Way Home. The third solo film starring Tom Holland is done. It's no longer a secret that's featured the return to the past Spider-Man actors. The marketing has relayed on showing iconic villains like the William Dafoe Green Goblin and Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. But with these questions remained whether or not Maguire and Garfield were going to return. Now, Spider-Man No Way Home has brought them back in major ways, but one of that has seemed to be the better possible future for one of them and not the other, which is why we're talking about this. So Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man No Way Home returns have allowed them both another shot to play Peter Parker after underwhelming the unexpected final appearance, which was later seen in the final battle with the Statue of Liberty from No Way Home. Now, you see that, let me know. But Maguire was meant to return for the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4, which would have happened, but had got canceled as well. And Garfield was supposed to appear in his Amazing Spider-Man 3, also is canceled as well. But however, now, guys, neither of these films happened as Sony selected their reboot instead. It's quite clear, guys, that the audience loves seeing Maguire and Garfield versions of Spider-Man back to the big screen in No Way Home. And again, it has the most excitement of anything. Now, there's renewed audiences' interest to seeing more of them in the future. Now, again, what happened to Andrew Garfield, Peter Parker after Amazing Spider-Man 2? Well, we just talked about that little more in the last article. So we're not talking about that. We're going to keep going. All right. So Sony could elect to bring both of their previous Spider-Man stars back, but Andrew Garfield's return is more likely than Tobey's. Now, throughout his time playing Peter Parker in the years since the Amazing Spider-Man franchise ended, Garfield has been quite vocal about how much being Spider-Man has meant to him. He still had all these ideas in his head and where his character could appear and go next. He was very enthusiastic about his future. As excited as many were to see Maguire again in Spider-Man No Way after Spider-Man No Way Home, Garfield, who really stood out to prove he was great, again, he's also still reasonably young. He could be a better suited to make multiple future appearances in some sort of fashion. So, alright, guys. So, Spider Man No Way Home has teased just how much more there is to explore with Andrew Garfield's Spider Man. But the same major feature is not possible with Tobey. Because Tobey's really old now. Tobey, he is possibly too old to keep playing Spider Man for significant lengths. That is why most theories say about Maguire's possible Spider Man future have pointed to him dying in some way or fashion. Possibly, again, the way to bring Miles Morales to the big screen, into live action, which would be great because as we would see more of Tobey's Maguire Spider-Man, bringing him back again just to kill him would be disappointing and unnecessary. Again, guys, don't do that. Don't do that. His Peter Parker currently had a happy ending. Sony can leave it alone and while using Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield moving forward. Okay, so Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man does return for the future films. There are plenty of possibilities of how he can happen. Sony could revive the plans of Amazing Spider-Man 3 and put Garfield back in the center of that franchise. Now, it would likely take him after Spider-Man No Way Home and allow teases of his Spider-Man darker history to be explored. Now, if he doesn't want to take on massive burden again, Andrew Garfield could also be Spider-Man in the Sony villain universe. This would also open up the doors and allow him to possibly meet the Tom Hardy Venom or the Jared Leto Morbius to confirm those characters exist in the Amazing Spider-Man universe as well. So even though Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield could both return after Spider-Man No Way Home, audiences would benefit more of the later, even though he doesn't return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe stage. Okay, guys, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts again. Let me know. It is really, really important that you guys realize what is going to happen with Spider-Man moving forward. Now, I just want to do this quick one for you guys. So again, let me know what your thoughts about your future and your thoughts and your theories and your ideas regarding to that of Spider-Man. Let me know down in the comment box or the chat when you watch this video. But again, the chat is only open when you watch the video. You don't comment on the chat if you're not actually leaving a comment. You can leave a comment underneath the comment box or leave a comment in the chat. But again, you have to leave a comment only in the chat or a comment in the comment box. Either way, guys, it doesn't matter. Anyway, please leave comments on my videos. It helps me understand what your guys' thoughts are. It helps me draw more an idea of what platform and what type of material you want me to cover based on. So again, guys, I want you guys to have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. I might have to plug in my computer again. It has about 55 minutes on the battery. And I'll check in to y'all later. I'll see you guys around, y'all. Bye.